And we are live. You can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll be right back with you, Howlers. We'll be right back.
Value. House of a Baz. I'm Ronnie Adams.
And I'm Jacob Casas. And this episode is called Diamonds and Gold. So before we move on, I want to just tell everybody to go ahead and like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button on this episode. So we have a special guest today. We always have special guests. So I wanted to go ahead and have him open up, let the audience know who you are and what you do.
Right on. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate this. But my name is Caesar Meyer, and I own a company. It's called Crown Gold Exchange. So we've been doing this for about 13 years. And what our company does is we help people turn in their gold for money, for cash, and we also help people invest in gold as well. So those two different types of market segments of people who, you know, let's say they inherited some gold jewelry or they inherited some diamonds, or let's say there's some broken jewelry that they want to get rid of. They come and they visit one of our locations and we evaluate it, we pay them out. And at the same time, people who want to invest in gold, you know, they're afraid of all the ups and downs of the stock market, or they want something that's physical that they can actually hold on to. So we sell investment grade precious metals like gold, silver, gold, silver, and platinum.
Oh, okay.
That's very interesting. We want to dive into that.
Yeah, let's do
like
it.
right now.
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of people don't talk about the investment. They always sell their gold, diamonds, and when we are purchasing, we don't look at it as an investment.
Right.
You know, we look at it, I'm going to wear this, you know what I mean? And if I have to sell it, I'll pawn it, or I will, you know, or it's not worth anything after that. You know what I mean? Because I've had it so long. Most people come in with this type of thinking, and then you said you guys are selling gold in a different market.
Right.
Tell us about this market that you're selling this gold in. Like, what type of people are you selling to?
Yeah, because I don't know anything about this market. I saw a movie with Adam Sandler. I don't know. You probably know it, where he's selling. It was on Netflix.
Was it the gems?
Yeah, it was.
The gem
It
dealer?
was.
Yes.
I seen that movie.
Yeah.
That's the closest I know about anything about this world.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin the end of that movie, but that was
That was a dope movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes to investments, right? There's certain type of investments that people want to put their money into, right? Mostly, it's like, hey, stocks and mutual funds. That's really where you go to.
Right.
And then once you get to other levels, you can start doing real estate.
Right.
You can start doing. I don't know if you listen to there's another podcast that I follow that's really big, but they talk about like you invest in art or you partial investments in real estate. But you also gold, silver, and actual precious metals is a really big market. And the way that we sell it, we don't sell, you know, jewelry as an investment. We're not a jewelry store. We do buy jewelry as the metal.
Melt down.
We melt a lot of it. If there's something that's a little bit better to resell, then we'll do that also. But when it comes to like investment grade precious metals, it's just something that makes people feel better about their wealth and their money and actually having something tangible. Because if you go back and you think about, hey, what really is money? Like when you look at a dollar bill, what really is it? And if you look on it, it says everyone's money. It says Federal Reserve note.
Right.
So a note is basically an IOU. So I take this note. It says Federal Reserve owes me $1, right? And then I give it to you. Now the Federal Reserve owes you $1. They don't owe me $1 anymore. They owe you $1 now. But what do they owe you that dollar? Like what when you go to the bank and you give that $1 to the bank, what do you get in exchange for it? What they owe you? They owe you
your money.
They owe you. The money is $1.
Right.
Right. You give it to the bank.
Right.
What do you get? You don't get
nothing back.
You get nothing.
Right. They have it.
They have it now, but
Right.
you have nothing.
Right.
So what it used to be like, was this dollar was backed by silver and gold.
Right.
So I can take a $20 bill and it's an IOU from the bank. So when I go to the bank, I give the bank the $20. The bank will give me my $20 worth of gold, my gold coin. That's actually worth $20, and that's where the real value is. It's actual precious metal. In the 70s, Nixon took us off the gold standard, so that's when the price of gold just shot up. The price of gold was flat for a long time, $20 an ounce. If you go to the 20s, when they actually 1933, they made it illegal to own gold. So the government said, hey, everybody who owns gold, you have to turn it in to us, and then we'll give you money for it. But as soon as that initiative passed, I guess it was a year or however long it took for them to get all the money from the citizens,
Yes.
right? And gold was set at $20 per ounce for like 100 years. As soon as that happened, then in 1934, price of gold, guess what? It jumped up to $35
An ounce.
an ounce, from $20 to $35 an ounce, because the government had all the money, had all the gold now.
Now, right.
Yeah,
That's crazy. That is so like that's mad. They just got people.
And then so it was like that. So it was illegal to own gold. So you're not going to see any gold coins from the U.S. from 1934, 1933 up until 1986. So we went that long where the U.S. wasn't making any gold coins. So in the 70s, Nixon took us off of the gold standard, and so now the price of gold is really fluctuates. It's just a market. It's supply and demand now. So it just depends on how much do people want this metal, and it shot up to from $35 an ounce, shot up to $200 an ounce to $400 an ounce.
Wow.
Because now it's just it can go to whatever it is. So now,
And this is it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
now the price of gold is 2024. The price of gold is over $2,000 an ounce.
Wow.
For that same piece of gold. And where can it head? It could head right here to the moon. It could just keep going.
going.
It can keep going, because is the price of gold actually going up, or is the money that we're using, is the value going down? Because now it takes more dollars to get that
it.
1 ounce of gold.
Right.
So what do you think on your expertise on that?
I think that there's only a limited amount of gold, and the way that gold is made, you can't make it. People have tried and tried and tried to make gold.
So it's resurfacing. It's just continue to go to in different. In different people's hands, right?
Yeah.
That's all it's doing.
That's all it's doing. I mean, they are still pulling gold up out of the ground, and there's a cost associated with that. But there's only so much gold in the world that's ever been pulled out of the ground. I think it's something like 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of gold, and that's all that they've ever pulled out of the ground ever. So, and that's it. So when you're trying to cash your $20 bill and exchange it for gold, I mean, the banks don't do that anymore. So what's the answer to that? The answer is to just make the dollar, keep making more and more dollars. And because of that, because the value of the dollar is being worth less and less, that's going to make all real assets, like gold is a real asset, silver is a real asset, real estate is a real asset, right? All those things are going up in value.
Oh, that's why everything, especially in California, is so damn expensive. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So
What
when
you're
you're
saying.
talking about inflation, inflation is great for rich people, because inflation is great for people that have assets. So you got your house. Let's say it's worth $500,000. Now suddenly 2 years later, hey, it's worth $800,000. What happened?
In 2 years.
I'm smart. It's what happened was they made your dollar worth less. That's what's going on.
Right.
And you can see it in the grocery stores now. What the inflation that's happening. It's you used to buy five dozen eggs. It was $10,
right?
And then it went up to $20.
It's crazy because even in other countries now, and don't get too political. In other countries, our dollar, they're starting to devalue our dollar. So it's going to hit America hard one day for sure. So
well, when you look at the balance sheet of the United States, what are their assets, what are their liabilities, and it keeps going in the wrong direction.
Right.
The deficit. We've had a deficit every single year for I don't even know how many years in a row, but it keeps growing. And the amount of debt that the U.S. have, I think it's $34 trillion.
What do we own?
What do we owe?
Own.
What we own? We own
Like exchange, stuff that we like. Do we really own the gold? All the gold?
supposedly it's there.
Supposedly. Okay.
It's
okay.
in Fort Knox,
Okay.
We don't know how much.
Right.
And I think it's still valued at $35 an ounce. Like when you look at the U.S. balance sheet, it's still at $35 an ounce. They haven't rebalanced it to today's actual market price. But my point is, you're $35 trillion in debt. To service that debt, meaning like how much interest do you pay on that debt every year? They raised interest rates recently, right?
Right.
So now, like half the income, and I don't know the exact number, but let's say half the taxes that are coming in are being paid just for the interest. And we also have things to pay for. We have military to pay for. We have Medicare to pay for. We have, all these important issues to pay for. And a lot of it is just going to interest. So where is the tipping point going to happen where it's like we're not going to have enough money to even pay the interest? So if that happens, if people see that happening, then there's no turning back, and something's going to happen. So I think by owning gold, by actually having something tangible, a real asset that's been worth something for the past at least 2,000 years or maybe even more, it's important for people to hang on to that so they know, hey, if the dollar goes to crap, then at least I know I have this.
What if somebody investor came in and wanted to buy all the gold that you have in your possession?
I mean, we can get our hands as much gold as possible.
Wow.
We can get our hands on a lot of gold.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's great business.
I mean, even today, we sold a little over $250,000 to one customer.
Dang.
He came in with $100 bills.
So let me ask you.
He came in with the right music. He was singing your right song.
Let me ask you though. I mean, I know you don't want to give him away, but why? Why do you think he came in and did that?
For himself. So I didn't work with this client directly, but it comes down to all those reasons. They're afraid of the global markets. They're afraid of what's happening with the dollar. They see how many trillions of dollars that the U.S. owes, and they see these politicians. They're not going to be popular if they say, "Hey, we got to pay down our debt." They're going to be popular if they say, "Hey, let's pay for your student loans. Let's pay for this. Let's give you free college. Let's give you free health care." That's what's going to make them popular, and that's what's going to get them reelected. That's what's not going to help the whole the U.S. economy and help the dollar be stronger like we need it to be. So that's why people are coming in, because they see the writing on the wall. And
is it happening more and more right now?
It's happening more and more. This last year, we sold more gold, and we're not a huge company. We have 10 locations. We're not big. We've been around for a while, and we sold.
Seems pretty big.
I mean, compared to the guys
I love it though. Like I love the humbleness, the modest, but
that's pretty dope. Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you like this: congratulations on your success.
I appreciate that.
Because at the end of the day, that you just motivate us. We love to hear stuff like that.
I mean, no pun intended, but you're dropping gems right now for everybody. Right. You know what I mean? I don't think people know this. I mean, it all makes sense for me learning what you just said in school, how it was traded for gold.
Yeah.
But like that's an asset. Like if the dollar does fall off, I mean, if you have an asset, then you got something still.
Exactly.
So it all makes sense. And obviously they know what they're doing. They made it illegal at one time to own it, to give it all to them. These people are always doing something shady, man.
Yep.
So it makes all the sense in the world. And then you just said you sold that much gold to one person. I mean, these people might know things we don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you're dropping some really good gems out to people right now, our audience watching.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. I mean, last year we sold a little over $10 million worth of gold and silver to people just coming to our store, just on the street.
That's awesome.
Dang.
Let's talk about.
I wanted to ask. So, you have 10 locations.
Yes. That's where I was going.
Okay, that's where you're going.
I was going there. Go ahead.
So 10 locations. How much do you think you're selling per location of gold? Like how much do you think? And I do want to ask, the people that are buying a lot of it, are they like high level people? like, who are these people? I know you can't give them their information or whatever.
Yeah.
But are they like high level people? Like, do you know anything about them where this is even concerning you a little bit? Like, man, maybe like something's about to go down.
I mean, we get people from all walks of life. You know, we have doctors, we have surgeons that come and invest, and then we have people who are just like, hey, I want to buy 1 ounce of gold every month. It's not a lot; it's $2,000, but it's something to just keep it going
Every month, though. Huh?
every month, just to keep that consistent. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
And then we got people that are like, they're they cash in their 401ks and they're like, I want to buy gold.
That's a trip, man.
You can actually own gold in your 401k too, so you don't get penalized
Talk about that
for
please.
doing that.
Yeah, actually,
How does
that'd
that
be
work?
great.
Can you talk?
That'd be great
can
to
you
talk
tell
about.
how that works.
Yeah, so let's say you have your IRA or your 401k. It's usually tied to your employer, right? So when it's tied into your employer, you can only invest in what that 401k plan offers,
right?
Because they need to make their sales commission, right? They sell stocks, they sell mutual funds. As long as your money is in those mutual funds, they make their 2% a year. Whether it goes up or down, they don't care. You're still going to get their 2% because it's in that. So they're not going to teach you about other alternative investments. So what you can do is you can get a self-directed IRA, a self-directed 401k, and then that gives you the option to buy a lot of other type of investments. So that's when you can buy real estate. That's when you can buy gold. That's when you can buy, art, things like that. So when you're owning gold in a Roth, in an IRA or a 401k, you can't hold it physically because that money is supposed to be, for your retirement. It's got to be protected. So they use a third-party service to hold your gold, which is usually it's an off-site depository. It's very highly regulated, very highly secure. These people have machine guns, so your gold is protected. It's protected by, Brinks.
Yeah, machine guns.
Yeah. There's one at the Vegas airport, and that's the one that I like to use. And so once it's there, then they're holding it for you. So then you could that's where you hold your gold. So on your statement, it'll say, you got this many ounces of gold, this is the value, and it's held there. And then when it's time for you to cash in, 59.5 or whenever you want to start pulling it out. If it's a Roth IRA, you can pull it out earlier because not all the money that you put in, the money you put in is already taxed, so you can take some of that money out beforehand if you need to.
That's good teaching.
That's a whole nother
Thank you.
thing, yeah.
Yes.
That's where it's held. And then there's people who just hold the gold at their house, at a safety deposit box. If you hold it at a safety deposit box, though, remember what happened with COVID is that these banks closed.
Right.
You couldn't get into a bank.
Right.
So, I remember by my house, the bank closed for months. So if I had my gold inside that safety deposit box in that bank, I'd have to wait for them to open.
Right. And what if they never open?
What if they never open? How am I going to get my gold out of there?
100%.
How am I supposed to get my stuff out of there?
100%.
And they have a huge, it's like a
If they
room
close
like this.
down, your gold is gone.
Yeah.
You're not going to recover that gold. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
You're going to have to go through court systems and do the whole process of trying to prove that you had that gold in there.
Right. But just knowing that your own stuff, you can't access it. That's
Right.
kind of scary.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's pretty scary to have. So that's why people like to have. There's private depositories that you can go to where they are open. They won't close if a COVID happened, or
There is?
Yeah, that's not a bank, and then people like to keep it close to home too. So you got to get the right kind of safe. You got to get the right kind of alarm system to really feel comfortable by.
You need a Richie Rich house, huh? The Richie Rich with the safe.
You need the Richie Rich house. I definitely want to go back towards the 10 business before the 10 locations that you have now.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get a little bit into your life before that.
Gotcha.
And how that looked. Like, where did you grow up? What was your dreams and aspirations before, this new person, this new businessman that you are now?
Mm-hmm.
What was before that? What was your lifestyle like? Where did you grow up?
Oh, I can go pretty deep.
Let's do it. This is what we,
I grew up close to here. I grew up in Riverside.
Okay.
So I think you went to Bloomington High School.
I
That's
did.
what you said.
Yeah, I did.
All right. Yeah, I went to Norte Vista.
Nice. What year did you graduate?
98.
98.
98. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun playing you guys football. You guys always
I'm
ran over us.
You definitely, if you played, you see me. No, I'm just kidding. Nota Vista, man.
Yeah.
That, you guys were struggling that year, but okay.
Yeah, we went pretty far actually. We went pretty
In
far.
'98.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to college,
Mm-hmm.
got my business degree, Cal State Fullerton, and
What was the degree in?
in business.
Oh, business,
Just
okay.
business administration with like concentration in, like information systems, but doing a couple information systems classes.
Before you got to college, where was what was as a kid? What were you like? What was your dreams as a kid?
Yeah, like what? As a kid, like everybody has
That's where the
dreams.
dream started. Like,
Yeah.
What did you want to do as a kid before you got to college and high school? But like even high school, what was your thoughts? What did you think that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, no one says they want to be a gold dealer, right? Nobody
Right,
even know that
like,
exists.
I'm like, but
I mean, I know I wanted to make a lot of money,
right.
but I think I wanted to go into like some type of financial services section. So
Like banking, something.
something like that. Yeah, something to help people like invest for their future. I was taught, by my dad at a young age to like, hey, this is important to you because you're not gonna have a pension, and if you're gonna rely on Social Security, good luck with that. If that's even around by the time you get old enough to get it.
So your dad helped shape your brain also? He
Yeah.
was there with a part of this?
Yeah, he did, absolutely, for sure. I mean, I was investing in my retirement account when I was like 16 years old.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, just like
So he was help building you then?
yeah, he helped guide me in the right direction.
That's
Like,
good.
hey, look, if you put this $500 in your 401 your retirement account, your IRA at 18, it's gonna be worth 60 grand or 100 grand when
By the
you're
time.
retirement age. Yeah. So
Right.
every dollar I would see, I'd be like, I can't spend it. I gotta invest it because it'll be
Right.
worth more later.
So you wanted to work with money?
I did.
Yes. at a
I did.
young
So
age.
yeah, and so out of college, I got into the mortgage business. So I was helping people with that. So the rates were low back then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had no idea they'd be as low as they were, just a few years ago.
Right.
They're high now, but a few years ago they were like 2-3%.
I got mine at 2%.
Yeah, yeah.
2.7.
But back then, like out of college, like 2004, 2005, rates were still low. They were like 6%, 5%. 5% was unheard of. That was like, oh my gosh, 5%. So a lot of people refinancing their houses, and I would always try to go the extra step and say, we're paying off all your credit cards, you're paying off your car, you're taking your monthly mortgage, your monthly payments all together from, this, and we're saving, let's say, $2,000 a month on all your payments combined by refinancing into your house because the equities went up. So why don't you take that money or take half that money and put it into a retirement account? Start investing that money. Put it in certain mutual funds and grow. So I like that aspect. I like helping people in that aspect. So that's kind of where I kind of saw myself.
A little bit of background started. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So college came.
So college came. I finished college. And then it's funny because everyone says go to college,
Right.
That's what all the teachers teach you.
Right.
That's what
Parents
your parents
teach you
teach you.
too.
Your friends' parents teach you, right?
And
Go to
my-
college. You go to college, and I come out of college, and I'm like, they're like, start applying for jobs. What do you know how to do? Well, I don't know how to do anything. I just went to college. I know how to learn stuff. So
Did you
I know.
catch that? I went to college, but I don't know how to do anything.
I went to college, but I don't know anything.
Right, I get it.
And that's kind of how I feel because, like, okay, I learned about a couple accounting classes, and then I learned about anthropology, and
Right.
I know where monkeys came from,
Right.
And then I learned about like all these different weird
Similar
things.
to high school, like school.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not teaching me about real world.
Yeah,
About the
okay.
real
You
life,
want
what
to
I'm
know
about to prepare for.
hypotenuse?
Dude, and I mean, I'm not trying to like rag on this right now, but it seems like college is just a business now. It's like you're wasting your time a lot of the time unless you want to go strictly into a field.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Like
a lot
a
of
trade or something.
Yeah.
$80,000, $100,000, $60,000 in debt. These kids are getting robbed.
Yeah, that's not right. And if you can get a degree, I mean, they make a degree for everything now, and it's like you should really look at the end result of what that degree is going to get you. Right? You're going to degree. You're going to for your accounting degree. Okay, you're going to be an accountant. Doctor, right? You're going to be a doctor or whatever your engineering. You're going to be an engineer. Like there's got to be some kind of path.
You know what's crazy?
And not to rag on too many degrees,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of people have like
Right.
certain degrees that aren't for the sciences. It's
Right.
not. So you go and then you learn. You get your degree. and it's it's a Bachelor of Arts of something, and the end result, like what kind of job can you get for that? Like, let's say. Again, I don't want to rag. I don't rag any degrees.
This podcast
But, like,
is all about that shit.
people need
we
it to
say the
help them.
truth, the real shit.
But
on
like,
here,
let's
man.
say you get like art history, or like it's like what are you going to learn with art history? You can
Right.
maybe be a teacher
Right.
to teach art history,
Right.
or communications. Communication. A lot of people go into teaching with a communications degree,
Right.
but it's like you don't really learn how to be a teacher with a communications degree. You get a degree. Now you have the basis because that's a requirement to become a teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like you have like something to get to where you want to be. And the whole thing goes into, let's open up all these degrees. Why? So we can give more student loans.
Yes.
Why? Now they're trapped in these student
Yeah.
loans.
That's
Because
what it
you
is
can't
now.
file bankruptcy on student loans.
Right.
So you are stuck in these loans
Forever.
forever.
Yeah.
Forever. It's scary. Forever.
Dude,
Sandlot, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's how I see it. And these people are coming out and they can't even get a real good job.
Exactly.
And they're just teaching you to work anyways, not how to have your own business. I mean, how hard is it to just have a job and barely survive in California? I mean, that's why I started my business. I was sick of living check to check, man. I couldn't deal with that anymore. So I feel like they're literally training you to be. I mean, this sounds crazy, but I feel like it's more real than anything. They're training you to be a slave for them. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what school's all about right now. I mean, why aren't they teaching
To
them
go
how
work
to do
for somebody.
Yeah, they could be teaching them how to do their taxes. They're not teaching any of that stuff.
Yeah.
They're changing all this math up when they don't even need to be doing that.
Yeah.
We're getting all into that, but I'm just saying.
I really wish I would have learned a little bit more about, really what your options are.
Yeah.
Like, in your high school and college, like you don't know what
There it
jobs are.
is. What are your options?
You don't even know
Yeah.
what your options are.
Let's just go
You
to
think,
school.
oh, I'm a firefighter, policeman, astronaut,
Yes.
teacher, accountant. Like, you don't know how many different positions are out there. And in school they would always rag on the trades. They always rag, oh, you don't want to be a,
I know.
you don't want to
And
be
they're the
a
best
trash
ones.
man. You don't want to be a
plumber.
trash man. You don't want to be a plumber. But those jobs are good.
Great
Dude,
job.
People make
And
a lot of
starting
money.
business with
My
that
air
makes a
conditioning
great,
guy,
great job.
he makes a killing.
Right.
Yeah,
Air
and then they
condition-
start their own business and
Yeah.
they're killing it. I mean, I knew one that was doing like for like second year in business, he did $2 million his second year in business as a
Yeah.
plumber.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing is, the trades are the way to go to start your own business.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like the best thing to do instead of going to college. It's
Yeah.
way better than going to college.
I mean, my buddy who we played football with in high school, he owns a sandblasting company out of Riverside, and he makes a killing.
Right.
He does amazing, and it's like
We gotta
you
find
wouldn't
that out later, though.
You wouldn't think sandblasting, but that's construction in general
Right.
is a great trade to go into.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of what is your calling? What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see yourself? There's welding, there's electricians, there's
Right.
all kinds of trades out there where you can make a lot of money. If you learn that, then you could grow that into a business if that's what you want
Exactly.
to do.
Right.
But growing into a business means you got to not do that work anymore. Now you got to
Yeah,
hire
hire
people.
people to
Now
do
you got
it.
to train
Right.
people. You got to make sure that the customers are happy, and
Exactly.
you
So let's
got to
get
get
into
the
that.
business.
Right.
So let's get into that a little
After
bit. Okay.
college now, you're a business owner.
Yeah.
So how did you decide to get into that business? So where did that
Into
come
the gold
from?
business?
Yes.
Okay, so I had a friend, so, right? We were in the mortgage business together. This is my business partner right now. He's not here. But we were both doing mortgages, and a little bit after that, because the mortgage rates went up, so he got into, I think, bankruptcy, helping people with bankruptcy. I got into some kind of debt settlement stuff for like a year in between, and just kind of trying to figure out what to do next, And he's like, hey, he comes to me, he's like, hey, we should look into this gold business thing. It's like, I got a friend who is going to be opening these gold stores, and they buy gold from people. And I'm looking at him, I'm like like you mail it in, like they mail it in, like the old people, they mail it in, and you give them money for it.
Right.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, that sounds dumb.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing that. So he's like, just check it out, So we went to a store that they were doing that, and just like pretty quickly they had people coming in, customer after customer after customer. A lot of people were coming in, selling their gold, and I'm like, well, this actually could be something that works. And when I went into business, I don't have, I'm not like the next Elon Musk or anything. I don't have this like high, like I need to be a trillionaire kind of stuff. Like I just went in, and I just want to be able to not have a boss. I know I don't work well with authority, so
All business owners know this.
yeah,
Right,
I just don't. I just
when it comes, when it goes.
yeah, I don't want to have a boss. You know, I want to do my own thing. If I see something that could be better, I want to be able to implement those things to make things better. I don't want to have to like ask for permission. Hey, can I?
And a lot of times they don't want to make it better. They're like, "Oh, this is the way we do it forever."
this is the way we do it. This is
It's
how
like,
it
what?
is.
Like,
yeah,
come on, man.
yeah.
But,
So my goal was very low. I'm like, I just need to make $4,000 a month. I just want to be able to pay my mortgage, just pay my bills. My wife is working; she'll make money too. Like, I don't need to make a whole bunch of money, and I just want to be able to live that way. And if I want to go to my son's baseball game, I can do that. If I want to go to my kids like play, I can do that.
Right.
So just having a little bit of flexibility was really important to me. But getting started, I was a lot more rigid. So we started in 2010, opened up our first store, very, very shoestring budget, like order the tile. My buddies, my business partner's brother helped, build like a back wall. He doesn't do that. He's an electrician, so he doesn't do construction like that, with drywall and stuff. And he's like, I think I could do it. I've seen it done a million times. I've never done it before, but he helped us out a lot too.
Yeah.
And then we're in there like painting, and we're like, hey, we're opening the store tomorrow, and the store it's not ready yet. So, we're laying tile at like 2:00 in the morning, like cutting tile, like laying it all down. We get halfway done. I'm like, man, this looks like crap. We got to rip it all out. So I called my dad. He comes out and he helps us and finishes it off. But ever since then, I'm like, okay, now we're in the store. We open it up and just kind of waiting for people to come. Hope that people come. It's like, this is our business plan. Hope that people come, and they did. So
how soon did that people start coming? And
people came in the first day.
oh wow,
People came the first day, and we had a little bit of training. And when people came in, the first thing that we bought was a pocket watch, a gold pocket watch. And so we bought it. It was like $1,200.
Okay.
It was like $1,200 is what we paid. So we buy this pocket watch, and a customer leaves, and my business partner, he's the one that bought it. And I'm like, hey, man, good job. Like, that's great. We got our first deal. He's like, hey, man, I think this is fake.
Oh no!
So it didn't start off great, our first
it never
deal.
does though.
Our first deal, and it's like we didn't have a lot of money. We put in to open the store between signing a lease, putting up the sign, all that stuff. Probably in like $20,000 just to open it, and that's, like I said, very, very cheap. And then we needed to have money to buy gold too, so that was like part of our money. Like, hey, we only had like $15,000 to start buying stuff. So to lose $1,000 right away, that's tough. That's tough.
Shout out to that, man, because the business owners out there, like people that want to be business owners, this is the kind of stuff you're gonna have to deal with.
Right.
I mean, it never starts out great.
Yeah.
It's always a struggle, man. Like, I mean, that's pretty much how a lot of that's the kind of stuff you got to deal with. Being a business owner first time, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes at the beginning, and then you'll figure it out. You gotta keep trying. That's the only way to keep going.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So within a month, we opened our second store in December. It was like December 23rd or something like that. So within 2 months, we opened our second store.
Right.
Damn, that was quick.
And was that because of the growth, or was that because that was already in the plan? Like, okay, we have this store already. We need to make open up another store so we can, make sure that they're both operating to bring. How did that work? Like, why so soon?
So like based off of our plan that we had, we're like, look, we need to open 3 to 5 stores. And if we have 3 to 5 stores, that's what's going to make this work. Like, one store isn't going to be enough for us. Like, we got to have 3 to 5 stores, and this is going to be like a 3 to 5 year plan. And we're out. We come in, do this 3 to 5 years, and we're out.
Oh,
So within the first year, we actually had 7 stores open.
damn. Wow.
And because
the
first year, and I remember gold was going crazy in 2010. And what happened was it went up fast. It went up fast and hard, and it was like all over the news. Like, it was not like it is today. Gold is almost at an all-time high again, and you don't hear about it anywhere. But
I don't hear about it at all.
But back then, it was like, all the rage.
I remember all the signs, turn in your gold, we buy gold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was everywhere.
It was everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere you go, you know, it was we buy gold signs in different places. Call this number, we buy gold. Like it was like real estate in our area.
Yeah.
You know, so I remember that time.
You know what's
where it
crazy?
was
Now I'm starting to remember. Yeah, I did see signs like that.
It was
everywhere.
crazy.
Not just on
didn't even
stores,
think
not
about
on
it.
just your local stores. It was people advertising their local businesses just on those real estate boards that they put out and stamp it in on the corners and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And put it on the traffic signs, we buy gold.
Yeah.
It was going crazy.
It was going crazy. It was going crazy. So because gold was going up so fast, the way I was looking at it was like, we can't open these stores fast enough. Like we got to open up as many stores as possible as fast as we can. Every day that goes by, we don't have another store open. We're losing money.
Damn.
You know, that's kind of how I
That's
thought
how
about
much
it.
people were going in the stores, though.
That's how much people were going to the
Damn.
stores. We were buying a lot.
And you guys are just like spread out through where? Like,
So we kind of hit Inland Empire.
how did you know where to pick the stores?
That's a good question. That's a really good question, and that's part of our secret sauce.
That's cool. Don't give it away. But I'm just like,
But I mean, one of the things is, you know, I'm from Southern California, so I kind of know
Traffic areas.
Traffic wise, you know, I'm like, we got to get one by Ontario Mills Mall. We got to get one, you know, by the Galleria.
okay,
They still
you're
call it
picking
the Galleria. Yeah,
Now it makes sense.
It used to be the Tyler Mall, but yeah,
Yeah.
they call it the Galleria.
So I'm understanding like why you're picking those areas right
Right.
now. So that's making sense.
Yeah,
Fast track.
Yeah, but I was thinking like cities and like, but I know why
Specific
specific areas that
Yeah.
are good at the population for that area.
yeah,
Okay, the
and just
traffic.
kind of like it's got to be spread out enough to where I don't want to like cannibalize one of my own
Yeah.
stores.
Yes.
Like have 3 stores in Riverside. You know, I got one in Riverside, one in Ontario, one in Chino. We got one in Hemet. We got one in Palm Desert. We got one in Redlands, and Rancho Santa Margarita. And then we have a couple that we opened recently. These are actually franchise locations: La Habra,
Oh wow!
Westminster, and San Jose.
So you guys got your franchise done. Like,
Yeah.
you paid the lawyer, got the franchise open, and they have to follow all your the way your rules are.
It's
and
the
everything.
FDD, the franchise disclosure document.
Dang.
So we have our official first
We have our-
franchise.
Yes, you're our official first franchise owner
Awesome.
in this one.
Awesome.
We've been trying to work on getting someone. I know I want to dive more deep into you on, but I want to dive a little bit into that because this is good. This is good stuff for the audience, man.
Yeah.
and it's gonna give us a lot of clips.
So when it comes to our business plan, right? We were opening stores. We opened a ton of stores. We actually got up to like 20-something stores. We partnered with Daniel's Jewelers, who I'm sure everyone's seen.
yeah.
Daniel's Jewelers, they're like in every mall out
Yes.
here.
Yes.
They have over 100 locations. They're huge.
So you partnered with them.
So we partnered with them where we were their gold buyer. And
Okay.
so our employee would be in their store buying gold, and then we pay them a percentage of everything we buy, which is a great partnership.
Right.
Let me get into this a little bit though, because I want to get into that. So for audience too, and this is stuff that people people that don't have a business that are trying to get into business, they need to learn how to deal with something like this. So first off, tell us how you got in with them, like how you even spoke to them and the sit down, the initial
Who
meeting.
recommended
I mean,
you?
all of that is a big deal to
Yeah.
even get that communication with them.
Yeah, that's just kind of a fun story. And so we hired a guy who there was another company in there that bought gold in the Daniels
Okay.
locations.
Oh, so you took their spot.
we hired him.
Oh,
He was saying he was saying that like they would like that company's going down. He's like, this company's not going to last.
Daniel Jewelers.
Not Daniel's, the company that was inside Daniel's
okay.
Jewelers that was
So
buying gold.
Okay, I get it.
So he kind of like was in. He kind of let us know.
Okay.
Like, hey, this company's not going to be around. So once that happened, the company that was in there was buying gold for Daniels. They are gone, and
You hired him.
well, he was already working for me. But once that happened, then I'm like, well, like, what's it going to take for us to be the gold buyer now? Like, what do we have to do? And I just looked up who the CEO was of Daniel's Jewelers.
This is stuff right here.
Yeah,
People
I
need
looked
to
up the CEO. His name is David Sherwood. He's an amazing guy. He's great. 3rd generation. Right, his grandfather opened Daniel's Jewelers. So his grandfather, his father, now he's the CEO. He still is. And I call him. I find his number. I call him and I leave a message on his voicemail. And this was like a couple days before Christmas. And I leave a message on his voicemail, and like 2 hours later, he calls me back. Because I was like, hey, introduce myself. My name is Caesar. I'm with Crown Gold Exchange.
Business,
I heard, you might be interested in partnering with another gold buyer. Your gold buyer's not there anymore. And he calls me back, and he's like, it's funny that you called me, because he's like, I never check my voicemails. He's like, it's always I have a secretary that answers my calls, but
Definitely.
because it's 2 days before Christmas, my secretary is not here. So I'm checking my own voicemails, and I thought I'd call you back.
Wow.
Man,
that's where it came from, just going out, just trying, just
Right.
seeing what's out there, because
That's what I
people
wanted
are
to-
more accessible than you think.
Oh my God, that's me. My bad, guys.
That's all good.
If I wanted to get a hold of, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or someone like that, I haven't tried that, but I believe it's possible. I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
it's possible.
Yeah.
If I
I've
had
done
something
stuff
worth
like that.
talking to them
Yeah.
about, I believe it's possible.
And the confidence is everything.
Yeah.
So that's how you get shit done, like just by doing it. Because a lot of times people just think you can't get a hold of these people. I've done that plenty of times in order to even keep my business alive. I had to go.
We're going
to
to keep
the
digging.
source. Yeah.
If you can't, just keep digging.
Yeah,
That's
you got,
right.
you'll
You
figure
know,
something
you're
out. But a
gonna
lot of people
figure
are
it out.
scared of that.
Right.
Or they just think, oh, it can't be done. Like,
Right.
you don't know until you try.
You don't know until you try, and the worst that can happen is they say no, and if they say no, it's just no just means not yet.
See, this is a good
doesn't mean
business
no.
tips. This
Right.
is great business tips right
Yeah.
here. Let's keep this flowing.
Because
Yeah.
you're definitely going to get the first person. They're going to send you to a secretary, and then the secretary going to keep trying to answer that call until you get to somebody else. And then you have to figure out if that person's not it, you have to get to the next person until you get to the top.
Yeah.
And I learned that through his business. He was like, for real, when I used to work for you back in 2016, because he used to make sure that who did you talk to? Oh, no, you just don't talk to that person. Figure out how to talk to the main person.
Yeah.
And then we always like dig
Yeah.
and dig
Yes,
and dig
yes.
just to get to the top.
See, my grandma taught me that.
Yeah.
My grandma, rest in peace. She just passed. She told me I worked for her only a little bit, maybe like a good 6 months, and she's like, you never take no for an answer. Shows you just shows, especially if somebody can't help you or they're saying they can't get you to that person, you keep saying no. I know you can get me to that person. Give me that information, and you keep pushing until you get it, and then call somebody else. Keep calling, because you will get that person that you need eventually.
Yeah.
And so that's what I kept doing, and that's what I was telling them to do. And who taught you to do that? Was that just your own mindset, or what was that?
When I worked for the mortgage company, it was a lot of cold calling.
Okay.
And
She did mortgage. That's
Oh, she did mortgage too? Yeah. It's a lot of cold calling, and it's just not just having thick skin, just let everything just roll off your back, like anything negative just rolls off your back. And when you're looking at those when you're doing cold calling, here's another thing, is like, let's say you make 100 calls, right? How many people are going to say yes to taking an application? Maybe 5. So every no gets you closer to a yes. So, hey, no, great. Thank you for saying no. Now I got someone else to call, because I know I'm getting closer to those yeses.
Right.
And you just got to keep plugging
numbers
away.
game.
It's
And
a
this
numbers game.
is real shit though. Like I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, no, because people don't believe in entrepreneurship. A lot of people just don't think they can do it.
Right.
But this is real shit. This is raw and real right now. This is how you get shit done. And to be honest, it's almost common sense. Like, come on, dude. You know what I mean? Like, this is really common sense stuff. It just takes work. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a genius. I mean, most of us business owners are like C students, so it is what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And at the end of the day, it's overcoming fear too.
Yeah.
A lot of this is in business is overcoming fear, because everything that you deal with, even from the initial of, hey, I want to start a business, and what do I do? First thing somebody say, oh, I want to open up a laundromat, or I want to open up a clothing store. Fear is going to come right away. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what to do next.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
and you're gonna fuck up.
Right.
You're going to. It's gonna happen. You're gonna say something wrong, whatever the case is. But you just got to try it again. Like, what's the big deal? Like, it's not the end of the world if you mess up.
Right.
Just get back up and figure it out.
Or if you ask the wrong question, because there's no wrong question in business. Everything is a learning experience. So the fear comes from people not asking questions or not taking that initial step to figure out, how do I do that? Who do I talk to? Talk to anybody. You know what I mean? Talk to any business owner and say, hey, how do I do this? And that's why I'm talking about the initial business of getting started. So the fear comes in and people are like, oh, I can't do it. You know, like I can't make that call. I don't know who to talk to. Call someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like with you.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't have even made that initial call to call someone.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
because
that was some cool shit that you did.
you know, because they're in fear. You know, like
Exactly.
me, like, and I say in fear because I've been in a position before, and I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna get back to you. I've been in a position to where, you know, I'm looking at buildings or looking at places to start a business, and the first initial is see if it's what it's zoned for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What is this building and this place zoned for? So how I can start this business? Can I start my business that I'm trying to do there? So how do I start this? And me not like me taking time waiting to see how do I do this? It's like, oh, I need to go down to the city,
Yeah.
or I need to figure out. Call a realtor and say, well, how do I figure my business? How do I put my business in this place? But
Yeah.
people don't even get that far.
Yeah.
They just be like, it don't look like I can put my business there, you know, because I got this here and this here. I don't know. It's just the initial fear that is taking these people to
Being afraid to do it.
yeah, or keeping these people afraid. You know,
Yeah.
the fear. You
When
know?
you're looking at a piece of real estate that you want to put your business in, you can look at. You don't want to spend too much time. You don't want to waste too much time, I should say.
Yes.
Over analyzing all these places
exactly,
either.
and that's what I was doing. That's
so,
good.
So you have to. Okay, this looks like a good spot. I'm going to make an offer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to start talking with them, right? And part of the contingency before the lease is finally executed is, I have to have my business license.
Right.
Or I have to have whatever licenses I need to operate the business out of this location. So you're going to find that stuff out later.
Right.
It's kind of like when you make an offer on a house. Like you make an offer on a house, and then a contingency is the home inspection, right? So you don't. Hey, before I make an offer on the house, let me see how good this house is. Let me check it out. It's like
Right.
you make the offer first based off of everything being okay, everything being good, or based off of what you know. Then you get the home inspection, and then you're like, okay, well, I didn't know this, so I'm gonna have to lower my offer, or
Right.
you adjust, you make adjustments based off of that, or you're like, okay, everything looks okay, so I'm past that. We're gonna move on now.
Right.
So it's kind of like opening a location too.
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah.
So let's get back into Daniel Jewelers. So you talked to him. He said he'd call you back. Let's go from there.
Yeah. So he called me back, and he liked it, and I said, okay. And this also goes with going to the top. So once you're at the top, then they can say, talk to this person, talk to that person. And then they're like, well, my boss told me to talk to you, so now I got to talk to you. You know what I mean?
And that's like I love
And
that.
that's where you
I love
that's where
that.
you want to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
once you start calling out names, you're like, hey, they told me to talk. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
not that they want to blow you off.
Yeah.
But when you talk to the guy above them, they're like, oh, well, now I got to talk to this.
Right.
So after he's like, okay, let's meet. So he came, we went to his office, talked to him in person. Then he came and visited our store. Kind of saw the setup, saw some of our employees, and he's like, okay, I think this is going to be a good fit. So the next thing is, what's our agreement going to look like? Like, how do we do this? So we have to. We didn't just hire lawyers, right? That's going to be a huge waste of time because lawyers, they get billed by the hour, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
they get paid to make things more complicated.
Okay. So, yeah, what did you do then?
So what we did is we made our own agreement. We're like, hey, these are the points. These are the points that are important to me. And then he had the points that were important to him. And then we kind of did a little bit back and forth on email. And we finally came to an agreement. And everything looked good. And then once it's done, I mean, I didn't even have a lawyer look over it. Maybe I should have. But at the end, once it's all done, not during and getting it all mixed up,
Yes.
meddled in, and it's like it could have cost me, $10,000-$20,000 to get this agreement done. But both of us were, we had a plan to figure it out. Like our minds, we were both working in good faith to make it.
And that don't always happen. That's a great.
But it
thing.
worked out for you.
But it worked out.
Okay.
It worked out. Yeah, COVID kind of killed everything. We haven't quite recovered in those stores since COVID. And I think a lot of it is because of they're in mall locations. So I think the malls in general are kind of tough. Yeah,
Right.
they took a big hit. But it was a good partnership while we had it.
Good.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how long did that partnership last?
That was, I mean, technically we are still
Still
still their partner. We just don't have any locations in there right now. So we could reopen those stores if we wanted to. We could be in every single store.
Still business partners with them. It's just waiting on the process to continue
to.
I mean,
Yeah.
that happens with every business. I mean, I had big accounts. I had Coca-Cola. I don't got them no more. So it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great when you have them. You're still making your money. You're doing your thing, and you partner with a big company. That's good to have in your back pocket. When you're
Yeah,
dealing
so
with
we
other
still have a
people.
good relationship,
Yeah.
and we could still go in there and open stores, but it takes a lot to hire someone, to train them,
Yeah.
to trust them, to be in there. So we just haven't gone that route yet, and really our focus isn't on opening up more of our own stores. Our focus is opening up franchise locations. So getting back to that, right, to the beginning of the
Franchise,
story,
yes.
the beginning of the story, I said, it was a 3 to 5 year plan. We wanted 3 to 5 stores, right? That was it. So during that time, in my mind, I'm like, hey, we're only going to have, this is only going to last 3 to 5 years. Like, I don't know how long this gold business is going to last. Like, what are we going to do? We got to figure something else out. So in the meantime, we would open up other businesses. So I'd have the gold stores, and then we opened up, vapes was a big,
Yes,
big
sir.
thing. So we opened a vape store.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Garden Grove, and that store did really, really well.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and so we're operating the vape store. So we got another partner, and he's running the vape store.
People were blowing their money on that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Like, they would just buy the best stuff ever, $500 vapes and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, remember?
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
damn.
So we had a whole business plan for that.
We have people.
Yeah, buy $500 vapes just to buy. He had like 4 of them. He had like 4 or 5 of them, man. Like, I was like, dude, cleaning them out all the time, redo. I mean, he would have everything for him. Like,
Yeah.
So I know you were making a killing with that.
Right.
Dude, 'cause
Yeah, it was a
everybody
good it was a
doing
good business, and we had a good business plan for that. But regulation, man, that just. You don't want to dig into the pocket of the tobacco companies, man. They'll
They come after
they'll
you.
come after you,
Yeah,
man. They
they
come after you. So they shut everything down. I mean, you can't even in California you can't buy flavors anymore.
Right.
Oh,
Damn,
legally. I mean,
No, there's no flavor there. Right.
because kids like flavors, adults
Right.
don't like flavors.
No.
Why would
And the
a-
kids are the ones buying, too.
Right.
Like
yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
but they changed the law too. You have to be 21 and over.
Right.
Which all those things are great. Like I'm all for that. Don't sell to anyone under 21. Like I'm all for that stuff. But what really came down to is California has bonds against future tobacco sales. So if those tobacco sales go down, then how are they going to repay those bonds? So they basically get money, right? Let's say they took a loan out for a loan is a bond. So they take a loan out for, let's say, $30 billion. And they say, I'm going to be able to repay this loan by the tax on tobacco sales, on cigarettes, on the sin tax. But once that revenue went down, they're like, oh my, like this is bad. Like we have a $30 billion loan we have to pay back. How are we gonna do that if our tobacco sales are going down?
Yeah.
I know. Let's villainize vapes.
Damn.
Let's find a villain.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that all these commercials would say something like, the tobacco companies want to hook your kids on vapes. When the tobacco companies had no hold in the vape business at all.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they were pretending that they were the ones, like the tobacco companies were the bad ones, but they really need the tobacco companies to be
pay-
around
Right.
to collect that tax.
Right.
So it's all a big marketing ploy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a question.
Yeah.
What's your take on gold versus cryptocurrency and fiat currencies?
What's
What-
my take on it?
What? Can you repeat the question?
What's my take on gold versus fiat currency
Fiat and cryptocurrency.
and cryptocurrency? Well, fiat currency is the currency that we use. So fiat basically means that it's not tied to anything. It's like goes back to what we were talking about, how it's just
In the bank.
it's okay. So money, so dollars, they're not backed by gold.
Right.
They're backed by the good faith and credit of the United States of America. That's what they're backed by. Good faith and credit. So it's like, just trust me. I got you. I'll pay you back.
Right.
That's what it's backed by. So that when fiat currency gets out of hand, I was talking about how politicians are doing certain things, not necessarily what's better for the dollar, but better for themselves and what's going to get them reelected. So over time, that's what makes these huge empires fall. The Roman Empire, what happened? Their dollar, their currency got devalued so much where it just crumbled. So when it gets into the hands, when there's too much power and people don't know how to manage it correctly, then that's where it kind of gets out of hand and everything just kind of falls. Cryptocurrency I think could be great. It is good to an extent. So you look at Bitcoin, and when you look at just money in general, currency in general, your currency is only good as long as the next person will accept it, right? So I'm only going to accept this dollar from you because I know I can give it to you, and you'll take it for whatever I want. And you'll only take it because you know he'll take it for whatever he wants. So we have Bitcoin, which is, I love it because, or I love the idea of crypto in general, because with Bitcoin, there's only going to be, 23 million Bitcoins that are ever going to be mined. And you can take that down to an eighth of a fraction, so 0.000001. You can fractionalize it down to like, right, eight decimal places. So it can get down to a very, very small number once all the Bitcoin is mined, which is going to happen in the next, I think, 10 years or so. But I think right now we have, 19 million Bitcoin mined out of the total of 24 million that's even going to be around. And with that, you can't introduce more Bitcoin. So right now, like, you can introduce more dollars, right? They just keep printing more dollars. You can make more dollars. You can't make more Bitcoin. So that's what's going to make it valuable. It's like by all the Bitcoin that people lose, it gets stolen. Like they lose their little flash drive or they forget their password. So Bitcoin's going to be eventually lost that way.
Damn.
But then there's not going to be any more ever to be made, ever. At least that's how it is written in that program.
Wow.
So that's going to make what you have, it's going to make it more and more valuable because it's going to become more and more scarce. It's like real supply and demand. So that's what I like about it. What I don't like about it is you can make a cryptocurrency very quickly. Ronnie Chang, the comedian from The Daily Show, he was with Trevor Noah, and Ronnie Chang, he made his own coin called the Chang coin.
I heard a lot of people are making their own coins.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, but we're not using Chang coin.
Yeah.
Right.
But Bitcoin is, let's say, it's the standard right now. It's what everyone will accept. But what's to say, like with just the blink of an eye, that we're not using Bitcoin anymore. Now we're using this.
Yeah.
And the one that we're going to use now, let's say, is US coin. Oh yeah, Bitcoin. No one's trading Bitcoin anymore. We're all trading US coin because you can't buy anything with Bitcoin anymore. So that's what's kind of scary about it is.
Oh, so that could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Right.
Because there's how many cryptocurrencies are there?
Right.
There's like unlimited, right?
Right.
Like people are making all kinds of cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I've been hearing people are making their own coins now, and I'm talking to a business partner right now that she wants to make her own coin for something has like I probably don't want to give that away, but in a different field, and it's like whoa, like I didn't know you can do that,
Right.
And I guess she knew somebody else that did that, and it's making money. So I'm just like, wait a minute, what? Like I don't understand that whole thing. As I would want to, because it's kind of weird to me. Like, how can you just? Cause, I mean, the way things work now, everything's switched up all the time. So it's like it could just boom in the blink of an eye be something else.
Yeah.
Right.
It could be. I mean, who knows how long Bitcoin's going to be around, or Ethereum? Who knows how long that's going to be around? It's only good as long as the next person is willing to accept it. Same thing with your dollars.
Right.
So that's why gold is so popular too, because who knows? Maybe gold won't be worth anything, but history shows
It's gonna continue.
from the ancient
Right.
Egyptians, like people are accepting gold.
Yeah.
People
We got
use
one more question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Are you invested in gold or Bitcoin?
I have both.
Well,
I have both. Personally, I have both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and gold. I don't do any of those altcoins.
the question was he invested in gold or Bitcoin?
Oh yeah,
Who are these questions coming from?
Yeah, the first one is from Dan
From Dan
something.
something.
Dan Ramiro.
Dan
Ramirez.
Marios.
Ramiro.
Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Dan Ramirez. Okay.
Thank
there
you,
go.
Dan Ramirez.
Thanks,
for the
Dan
first
Ramirez.
question. And who's the second one?
It's from the same guy.
Oh, Dan Ramirez.
Follow-up question. Then we have one from. Let's see. How much did you buy your Bitcoin from? This is from Michelle.
How
From
much did
Michelle.
you
How much did I buy my
your
Bitcoin
from Michelle?
Okay. That's funny because I actually didn't buy any Bitcoin. I traded it for metals.
Oh, okay.
So somebody would buy silver from me, and then he would pay me in Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
He'd pay me in Bitcoin. So that's how we have the Bitcoin that we have, and
Nice.
switched it over to a little bit to Ethereum. So Ethereum and Bitcoin is what I have. But what's more important too, what's behind the layer of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, is the blockchain. And the blockchain is really where the technology is that we care about. Because once something is on the blockchain, it's something that can't be stolen from you. It lives there. It lives there on the web. So if you can take that, let's say you translate, let's say deeds to your house. Like a deed, right? If you own your property, you have a deed, you have title to your property. Where is that? That's recorded with the county, all right? And there's a lot of paperwork involved. But what if that was living on the blockchain somewhere? So that way there's a clear record of who owns that property. It lives on the blockchain. And then you can transfer the property from one person to the next by simply trading this token that lives on the blockchain. So that is a huge use case for crypto, I guess, blockchain technology in general, on securing your assets and making sure that you really own this, I really own that, and keeping everything separated. The way that blockchain works, I'm not sure if you're familiar with how it works, is when you think of blocks, you think of, okay, there's a block here with information. There's another block here with more information. There's another block. So it's a chain. It's a chain of different blocks of information. So let's say you have 10 of them. So you have 10 blocks in a row. And in order for that information to be true and validated, is that the next block has to basically replicate all the entire chain from the beginning, and then you put a new block at the end. And if someone tries to insert data, let's say within the 5th block, they're going to say, oh, that's invalidated because it doesn't match up with all this other information that's been there, with all these other blocks. So blockchain is basically you're adding your information to the end of all this other previous information. And if you try to supersede it, if you try to go around it, then it's going to say, nope, that's not right. That doesn't work. And the way the computers work is that they all validate. I think over 50% of the computers on the network, they have to validate that for it to be true.
Wow.
And think of how many computers there are in the world.
Damn.
So it's very. So is it possible? It technically is possible to supersede it, but it's got to be some massive operation.
Right.
It's basically impossible to do that.
Yeah.
Dang, you're throwing some gems out there, man. See, this is stuff that I don't even know. This is in my field. So it was great. Even I know because we're running out, huh?
Right.
So, man, we got to have you on again.
I appreciate
We
it,
got to
man.
keep this rolling because you're throwing out a lot of stuff that, I'm very interested in all the stuff that you're saying right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I know our audience don't know about this because we haven't had anybody like you on yet.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like we need to keep you coming, man.
I'll be happy to come, man.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
Going back to the gold stores and that route, right? And I was like, this is a 3 to 5 year plan. We're afraid, I don't know how long this is going to last, so we got to open these other businesses. So, we did the vape store. We did these other marketing company. We sold those hoverboards even, for a short time.
Entrepreneurship at its
we're just-
best. Let's get it. We're going to do everything that we can to keep it going.
Yeah, we did so many things. And, at the end of the day, the gold business is the one that's still there.
Wow.
So that's when I was like, went to my business partner and I'm like, look, we've been trying all these different things. I think the smartest thing to do is we got to double down, triple down on the gold business because that's what's here to stay. And what has been proven is that this holds longevity. Mm-hmm. So that's when we started franchising. We're like, look, what's the next level if we don't open up all these stores ourselves? Is we gotta get into franchising.
So with the franchising, you paid a lawyer to do all that and everything. And did you guys go to any franchise conventions? You guys did all that?
We did a franchise convention. Yeah.
Okay. So can you explain the process a little bit for people that don't know about franchises?
Yeah. So to be a licensed franchise in California, it's actually a legal definition. It's a legal term. You can't just say I'm a franchise.
Yes.
There's paperwork involved. There's certain processes involved.
It's like $100,000 to do it, isn't it?
It can be. The company that we used was like I think 25 grand.
Oh, dang.
25 grand to do
That's
it.
really good.
Yeah, and they have a whole team involved. So we went to a franchise convention. It was in Anaheim.
Okay.
And you go there and you learn about all the different franchises that are available, and also people that can franchise your company too.
Mm-hmm.
So we chose this company. They were great. They helped us.
25 grand.
Yeah. And when you're franchising, there are certain things, right? Like if you do certain things, but you don't call yourself a franchise, but you, like, let's say you wanted to open a Crown Gold Exchange, right? And weren't franchised. But if I say, okay, you have to pay the customers this much, you have to have your color scheme this, you have to, and there's all these different rules I have in place,
right.
then that's an illegal franchise because you're operating like a franchise, but you're not franchised.
Uh-huh.
So, but if I say, okay, you can use the name and that's it, then, but you can do your own thing. You can, you can sell hot dogs. I'm like, hey, we don't sell hot dogs. We buy gold. But you're like, well, I'm not a franchise, so I can do whatever I want. So that's different. But when I can say, hey, you can't sell hot dogs, you can't, do certain things, that's when the franchise control comes into place.
That's like the operations of the business and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like how it needs to be operated.
Yeah.
And there's like a specific way. That's all. Is that a lot of that's in the contract of the franchise, right?
Exactly. And once you're franchised in California, it opens you up to expand that franchise to, I think, around 35 different states.
Oh wow.
And then there are other states where you don't need a franchise agreement. I think it's like Texas is one of the states. Utah might be one of the states. Yeah, Nevada. And then there's, to be licensed in all 50 states, it's other process. Like if you wanted to be franchised in New York, that's a whole different process. Yeah, like the California franchise doesn't transfer over to New York, but California opens it up to a lot of states.
And how many franchises do you have?
Right now we have
Franchisees.
3.
3. Okay.
Right now we have 3, and our franchisees right now, they're looking at opening up more. So we have
really?
4 more stores. We have 2 new franchisees, and then 2 of our existing franchisees. All of them are looking at opening up a store right now.
Congratulations.
So we're all in like lease negotiations right now.
So okay with I mean, I don't know if you want to put this out there, but there's always a certain amount that they got to put in order to buy the franchise, right? To become a franchisee.
Yeah.
Are you what would be a price for something like that? You don't got to give yours out if you don't want to. But what would you say? Give a ballpark figure of what a price would be for a franchisee to pay in. To buy
Okay,
in.
so they have a price, and they also have certain criteria.
Okay.
So, for example, let's say Orange Theory Fitness. I think the franchise fee on that is $100,000 per location, and you have to commit to doing 5 locations within a certain amount of time.
Really?
Yeah, or like a Subway, right? Subway's probably a lot less, maybe
I
50,000.
didn't know you had to commit to other ones as well.
Some of them require you to do that.
That's
Okay.
just like Starbucks and stuff like that. You have
Yeah.
to open up like 20 locations at by a certain amount of time
Yeah.
if you want to own.
Or like McDonald's is like a $1 million franchise
Franchise,
fee,
right.
and that's just a fee to pay them
Right.
to give you the opportunity to open up
Right.
a McDonald's, and then you got to pay
Pay
for the build
everything
out,
else,
and
yeah.
you pay everything.
And then they still recommend you open
Is-
up this
is-
many amount of after
Yeah.
that $1 million.
Yeah.
I was like, woo.
So let's say with you, if let's say somebody wanted to be a franchisee for you, would they have to? They buy in.
they buy in, yeah,
And-
$20,000 to $25,000.
Okay, and then they would have to make the location look like your guys' location. Is that part of it?
Yep.
Slogan, all that kind of your logo, everything, right? And do they have to operate it the way you guys operate it as well?
Yeah, so we train them on the way that our businesses run, and it's listed as a location on our website, just like every other location.
Okay.
And we help them get leads. We help.
Okay.
And then our outreach, our social media, and all of our other advertising, it goes to helping the local stores.
And you won't put no one in that vicinity they're at. Obviously, if somebody else wanted to open one up, right?
Yeah.
They have like
So
a
they have
target
protected
area.
radius. They have a protected radius of where their store is. So we go over all that stuff to make sure we don't cannibalize. Hey,
Yeah.
have another franchisee open up next door. We don't want
Yeah.
that. We want everyone to be successful.
Yeah.
And then our we operate a little differently. We want everyone to be successful. So our franchise fees are very low. But the other thing that we do is we help our franchisees with the cash flow. So let's say they get a big deal. Let's say, hey, I got a $50,000 gold buy coming in right now. I don't have $50,000.
Right, you guys work
so I'm like, okay, I'll wire you the money.
Okay.
I'll give you the money right
So
now.
like their bank in a sense.
Kind of like their bank,
Yeah.
but you got to sell it to
Wow,
us. You sell it to us. So we send them, we give them the money. They buy it from the customer and they sell it to us.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. So it's kind of like we are their
And they're
partner.
just getting
Yeah.
a profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are their partner. Like
Right.
we're helping them open up the store. We help them with their operations
Building their
because
business.
open up a gold store. You'd think you need like millions and millions of dollars, which it can be that, but like I said, you get one deal for $50,000. You don't have the money. What are you gonna do? Turn your customer away?
No.
That's
That
the
sounds like
worst.
a good deal though to open up a franchise with you for the amount that you're having them buy in, and then it's like they got a bank.
Yeah.
If they qualified to open one up with him, it's like they got a bank to say,
Right.
okay, these people are coming in. Dude, it'd be a great opportunity for someone to open up a franchise with you.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great deal. Anybody that wants to do entrepreneurship, I would contact this guy, man.
What's great about this business is that the
that's
inventory never expires. The inventory never goes bad, right? Because it's diamonds and gold.
Made a food store.
It's not a food store, yeah. Well, not a vape store either. Like
right.
even the vape stuff, like we would buy stuff from China, and then by the time we'd get it, the next newest thing would be out,
Right.
And now you can't sell it. Now
Just don't lose
it's
its
just dead. It's
value,
just dead
yeah.
stock. You
Dead
know?
stock.
And you know what's crazy? It was ironic. His name's Caesar. You know what I'm saying? The gold. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I like that.
Well, I might think about doing something in Vegas or something in Nevada.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, that'd be great. I
You
mean,
know, 'cause you do have a location in Nevada?
we don't have any in Nevada.
Okay.
It's open.
Yeah,
it's open
I
right
have
now.
some business already going there and real estate there already. So definitely would be, keep you in mind.
Yeah, but I would love to open. If we can open.
Don't take my idea. No,
No, I just want to help open franchises. If we can open 2 to 5, this is my small number, right? Just 2 to 5 per state. That we're licensed in. That's kind of our goal, is to get it to that level. And there's definitely room for much, much more than that. There's a lot of people out there that you don't think of that have stuff like all these gold and diamonds that's worth something, and people just let it sit there.
Yeah.
And people just let it sit there. It's worth a lot of stuff. Like you have a piece of jewelry sitting in your drawers broken. Oh, one day I'll fix it. Well, do you want to spend the $100, $200 to fix it, or would you rather get money and buy yourself something new, or buy yourself something you're actually going to use? Buy an iPad. Pay for your kids' education, or fix get a new
that
washer and
junk.
dryer.
Get that junk out of that drawer and give it to us, please. Thank you. We
already
need it
us.
all.
Yeah, us. Right?
Give it to us. We need all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's people, and there's a lot of different ways that a lot of different reasons why people sell their gold to us. It could be either they inherited it, so they're cleaning out their family members' property.
it. I'm just
Well, that's happened, but we don't want to get involved in any of that.
yeah,
When people sell to us, we get their signature, we get their thumbprint, we get their ID. So when the cops do come to us, that's him.
That's him.
And I can tell you some stories about that too, but I'm sure we don't have time
Yeah,
for
we
that.
got to bring you back.
We
man.
got 2 more questions, but I gotta ask this question,
Yeah.
and then he would ask the most the ending
Yeah,
question.
we can get into that. I mean, let's do
Yeah,
that.
I just want to ask one last question. What's the difference between selling my gold to you and the pawn shop?
It has to do a lot with you do want to shop around when you're selling gold, but when it comes to us, what differentiates us from the market is number one is the convenience of the locations. So we always try to be in somewhere that's very convenient for someone to go to, a place that's very safe, very well lit.
Not no small alleyway.
Yeah, exactly.
hood-
No, there's
in the hood.
no bars on the windows. You're you're looking in there. We're very focused on our
I
customer.
went into
and-
one of your stores.
Oh, have you?
It's nice. Yeah, I went with Jessica.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And we really focus on the customer experience, and when we're buying gold from people, we don't say, hey, how much do you want for this? We never do that. That's not our intention, because I don't know why people do that.
No hustle, no bargain.
Yeah, I don't know why people do that. How much do you want for this? I want the most. That's what they're going to
Right.
say. So we don't even bother with that question. We're going to say, you come to us, we're going to give you the best price we possibly can. You don't even have to tell us. So a little fun game that I like to play is, I'd write the number down okay, this is how much I'm going to pay you. Let's put $800. Flip it over. Be like, I already have the number. I wrote down how much I'm going to offer you. But just out of curiosity, like, how much would you expect out of this?
Yes.
You know, and they'd say like $300. Like, okay, flip that over. $800. I'm going to give you $800.
Still.
So still, yeah, of course.
Yes.
Of course. So
Wow,
that's what's different about selling to us versus a pawn shop is we don't play those kind of games. When you come to any of our stores,
Yeah.
we're going to pay high and we're going to pay consistent, and we're going to pay someone, you know, right there on the spot as well.
To
Good
shut
business.
these pawn
Great
these
business.
stores down, the pawn shops, man.
Yeah, so that's
Great
that's
business.
one of our things is we evaluate it honestly, and we give people a fair price right from the beginning. And if someone doesn't want to sell to us, like, I'm going to think about it, we don't stop them and offer that. I'll pay you double. I'll pay you triple. Because I've heard stories like that before, where, you know, they offer 200 and then, what if I give you 400? What if I give you 600? And when someone's doing that to you, you're like, dude, how much are you trying to rip me off?
Yeah,
Like that's not cool at all. You could have given me $600 and you offered me 200.
Right.
So we always start high. Let's say we'll start with 600, and if they want a little bit more, we can work with them a little bit. Maybe we'll give you 620, maybe 650. You know, but we're never gonna double our price. There's no
Right.
room. We can't double our
Yeah,
price. They want double. I'm sorry, we can't help you. Like come back when you're ready. But this is our offer. This is our best offer. This is the best offer you're gonna get out there.
Oh, so it's legitimate business, guys. So you bring your gold to him, diamonds, gold. But we appreciate you coming on. I do want to. I'm gonna ask this question because this has been a full entrepreneurship one.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ask him a different because I want to bring him
Okay.
in for
That-
leadership.
yes.
I want to bring you back in because we have a lot. We didn't get into anything we
them,
thought
right.
we were gonna get into.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but I love all this was great, like great knowledge for people just to start understanding. But
Awesome.
I do want to ask you, okay, so what, as an entrepreneur, what do you think, as of right now, what would you suggest to people? What would be the biggest step first, the first step to be an entrepreneur? What would you suggest for them to do? Their first step as an entrepreneur.
That's a good question. And a lot of people think, I need to open an LLC or I need an S corp or whatever. You know, don't get hung up on that. You know, try to just make $1. Try to make your first dollar in whatever you're doing. Everything else comes later. You're building your website, accounting, all that stuff. That comes secondary. But if there's something you want to do, put it on. Let's say you offer a service. Put it on Facebook. You want to do pressure wash. You want to wash windows. You want to do dog walking. Just put it out there and see what kind of response you get. You'll always have time to make your business better. Your business will never be the way you want it to be. Even today, even me, like always, I'm thinking, man, I got to update my website. I got to do this. I got to update our customer relationship management software. There's always something that needs to be done. I got to post on Google, Google pages more often. I got to update my Yelp. Like there's so many things that are running through my head every day. I got to make this training manual better. I got to teach people how to use this device, how to use that device. And you're never going to be satisfied with where you're at. You just always got to know that, hey, there will be time to do that, but just focus on making your first dollar and just start making some money right now.
I love that.
Everything else
That
comes
was fire.
Everything else
That
comes
was
later.
great.
Yeah.
She said
was
focus
great.
on making your first dollar.
Right.
That's right.
So I mean, as long as you're making something on your first, and it's something you're trying to do, you know that it's bringing in something.
That's step by step. You don't have to be, you don't have to be at the top in the beginning.
Yeah, there's people that analysis paralysis. I'm sure you've heard that before, where they overanalyze everything,
Yeah.
and they never get
They never
started.
start.
And
Yeah.
I've had someone who I kind of invested in their company. It was a company having to do with anti-gossip. So it's like teaching people about the power of your words and how you shouldn't be gossiping behind people's back and just kind of the damage, like what does gossip do? So this was like a company that we were investing in, and the woman who we invested in, she had a great message. I love the message, but she's like, I got to finish my website. And I'm like, look, just start speaking.
it.
Just start speaking. Go on TikTok. Go on Instagram. Just start talking. And she would get on these like podcasts and she would get gigs. And she's like, I got Good Morning America talking to me.
What?
And all these
Yeah.
things. And I'm like, well, just do it. And she's like, well, I got to get these mugs.
Ah.
I got to get my mugs and I got to make a book.
Did she ever
because I don't want to
start
talk. I don't want to talk until I can sell my book. Because what's the point of talking if I can't sell my book? And I'm just like driving myself crazy. Like, you have it. You have everything necessary to get started. You basically have the outline of what is your message, and that's just focus on your message, and everything else will come secondary. And she never got started.
Oh wow, really?
She never got started, and I think a lot of people get hung up on the small
They do.
stuff.
That
They
fear.
people.
I was talking
because
about
it's
that
scary.
fear.
It's scary
That fear.
because if you do it
Right.
and it's not successful,
Right.
then you're like, oh crap, like I tried
Right.
and it didn't work. But you can try again.
Right.
You can just keep going. Just keep going and going.
Yeah.
So let me actually go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna go ahead.
No, get into what you want to ask. Yeah.
Oh, just wanted to know your experience on this podcast. How did you like
yeah.
the
How'd you-
experience?
what was your
What was your
experience
experience like here? Like, what did you think about our podcast?
I think this is great. I think you guys have really good questions and you guys are engaging, and I really appreciate that. So
Yeah,
thanks
we-
for letting me come
We
on
thought
here
you
and
were awesome.
Yeah, this
share
was a
my
great episode.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Appreciate that.
we bring in entrepreneurs. That's what I was already thinking. Like, we bring in entrepreneurs. I'm trying to have a whole entrepreneur panel, entrepreneurship panel, where we bring a bunch of different ones in. But my thing would be before we end would be like, say we had an entrepreneurship and we had a whole panel and we bring in like live stream it where people can see where, let's say, okay, well, this entrepreneur has an issue with this. He hasn't been able to resolve this. What issue do you have right now? And everybody kind of goes in and say, you know what, this would be a good way to resolve it. And they
Helping each
they use
other.
their expertise.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be cool for audience to see and for entrepreneurs to deal with each other
Yeah.
in that aspect where we have different ideas and different ways of doing things. We have so many ideas. We brought so many different entrepreneurs in here, even with you guys being the bank for your guys' businesses.
Franchisees, yeah.
I was thinking of building like a network, like a Howler network, Howler network, where something like that works out, where we can help businesses grow, different businesses keep flourishing.
Right.
And these are so many. It's all brand new stuff that we've been figuring out of what we want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, that's kind of where we're at with this. I think it'd be great if we bring you on and keep doing these things, because we have a few other entrepreneurs that we brought on, and a lot of this stuff is just blowing our minds, man. Because I mean, when you get entrepreneurs together and they start talking, and the people that have built businesses and been through all that, they have a whole different way of thinking. And a lot of times, other people that you just meet just flies over the head. You can't even have these conversations,
Right.
Because they don't understand,
Right.
So and a lot of people are just afraid to start a business, just like you said. So it'd be cool for people to see how we do things. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and just having the contacts too, like, hey, my accountant is amazing. My accountant's helped me, save all this kind of money on my taxes for doing it something this way or doing it that way,
Right.
or just other just the whole tax loophole thing.
Yes.
The whole tax situation
Man,
is a whole thing.
And I'm
Exactly.
going through that right now, and I'm like,
Like, why do you want to buy a property? Why do you want, how do you take the property? How do you depreciate your vehicle? How do you how do you reduce your tax liability every single year?
yes.
So just knowing those things and preparing, it just takes that curiosity, man, and just trying to learn it, because even your accountants don't know
yeah.
everything.
Right.
I'm like, hey, can you tell me about the Augusta rule? They're like, what? What does that mean? I'm like, well, it's this certain rule where you can rent out your own house
Right.
to your company,
Right.
and when you do that, you can write off up to, I think, 2 weeks.
6 months. Oh.
You go up to 2 weeks.
Oh.
So the money that you make, so let's say your company pays you to host a company retreat at your house, your company pays you, so it's an expense to your company, but you don't claim that as income for 14 days.
Right.
And the reason why
office, right?
what's that?
As an office, right?
That's different.
Okay.
That's you're talking about using your home, like a home office.
Right.
This is like using your home as like a
a-
company retreat for up to 14 days.
I've seen that on like TikTok or something.
Yeah, so let's say you rent your house out to your company for, let's say, $3,000 for the week, for 2 weeks. So you could take that $6,000. It's a write-off on your business, but then you don't have to claim that as income on yourself personally. The reason why it's called the Augusta Rule is because it originated with the golf tournament, in Augusta. What's it called? A golf tournament where people would, because it's so big, like everyone would rent out their houses.
Right.
Wow.
And so the money that they made off of that didn't have to claim.
Right.
That's cool. I didn't even know about anything about that.
Yeah. So that's just one little thing when it comes to taxes.
Yeah.
But just you're right, just being able to share that knowledge with everybody.
Yeah.
It's everything.
It'd be good and like do a whole network when it comes to that. But
Right.
we appreciate you coming on, man. You
Yeah.
killed it. You killed it today.
I appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
Thank you.
If you want to say anything, last thing to the viewers out there, you want to say anything?
Where to find me, find you, or your Instagram? Or?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. I think we have over 200,000 followers on 200,000 subscribers on there. It's at Crown Gold Exchange. Everything is at Crown Gold Exchange. We got our Facebook, we got our Instagram, TikTok. I think we have 140 something thousand followers on TikTok, and it's just been a fun experience. Yeah, I'm just posting very consistently.
Where they can find your businesses on that Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Everything is there.
Yeah, crowngoldexchange.com. That's where you can find our business. Like I said, we have 10 locations in California. So if they did have anything to sell, or if they wanted to invest in metals, come visit our store in person. It's a lot different of an experience than just going online and trying to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we have advisors in our stores that can point you in the right direction on which metals to buy, which ones to stay away from, and why it's going to be a good investment for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, so appreciate you.
that.
Thanks for letting me come
Appreciate
on
you.
the show.
Man, thanks
Thank you
again.
Yeah,
again.
thanks, you guys.
So don't forget to like and subscribe. We want to thank everybody for watching. So we have a 7 o'clock. So you guys might want to tune in for the 7 o'clock. But yeah, go ahead and do their thing.
House of Abbas. I'm Ronnie Adams.
I'm Jacob Casas. Shed the sheep, and we're out.
We out of here.